The Nikki Glaser Podcast. The Nikki Glaser Podcast.
Here's Nikki. It's me. Hi. This is my podcast. It's me. Andrew and Noah are waiting by patiently. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to the show. It's the Nikki Glaser Podcast. It is Monday. And it is the first Monday since Taylor Swift released her new album, Midnights, which has been my obsession over the weekend. I talked to Noah about it. I talked to Brenna about it. We are, Noah, I feel like, has become a convert since this album. Noah, what are your thoughts? I mean, you got into it, I feel like, for me, which is so sweet.
Well, a couple of things. One is like the best way that I can describe her voice on this album is like very like velvety. Yeah. And I like that like the album has like a theme. It's not too poppy. It's kind of like dark in a way, and her lyrics are very visceral. So surprised. Good lyrics.
That's what we love about Tay is those visceral lyrics. And this album especially is next level self-awareness, next level darkness. Even in her song, the Anti-Hero song, the first verse is about my depression. And when I go into a depression, all of the people I've ghosted are in the room with me. And then she goes into being, I'm a covert narcissist. And I mean, it gets like and then she has a whole entire song about how she tricked a guy into loving her. The whole song is about like getting to I do. She's like, it's called Mastermind.
Even Taylor's reading that book.
She really, I mean.
What, someone says she took a line from like you're stating the monster on the hill or something. Everyone's like,
sexy baby.
Sometimes I feel like everybody is a sexy baby and I'm a monster on the hill. Okay, I just want to say sexy baby originated. I did not steal it from that, but I think it was just like, I had definitely heard it before, but I do say that Halsey sings like a little sexy baby. And I think it was first on 30 Rock was, there's a character that's like, because a lot of people wrote to me this weekend were like, she definitely listens to the podcast, sexy baby. And I'm like, I feel like I said that knowing that people, that I wasn't like inventing that. I hope that no one thinks that I stole that. I think of sexy baby as like a part of the zeitgeist of the way we talk about girls' voices now. So I hope no one thinks that I think that I created that. But if it was the first time you heard it from me, it doesn't mean you're wrong. But it is a part of the zeitgeist that people say that. I think I first heard it on 30 Rock. But the Mastermind song though is like, it was funny. Noah rewrote the lyrics this weekend because I said it to both her and Anya, being like, this song is about getting to I do. And Anya was like, no way. I'm like, well, no, it's not actually about, that would be insane. But Noah rewrote the lyrics and because Anya hadn't listened to it yet. And Noah was like, but I mean, these lyrics are pretty insane. She was like, she sent it lyrics and she goes, what if I told you none of it was accidental, which is one of the actual lyrics. And the first night that I saw you, I made eye contact for 5 seconds. I kept asking you questions about you without mention of myself. 90 days of no sex without exclusivity because I'm a mastermind.
Was that chapter 4?
Yeah, and she wrote, wow, these lyrics are from chapter 1 of Getting to I Do. And then Anya wrote, oh shit, wow, the rules too? Doesn't the rules say 5 seconds? Or maybe that's Pat Allen. I think she's secretly obsessed with you, Nikki. And Noah's like, no, you would think that Taylor Swift would write no sex without exclusivity for 90 days?
She's like, I went to Kirkwood High School. I dated a guy on and off for 8 years.
I mean,
I was on Last Comic Standing. It's like, this feels like me.
Yeah. Well, I have to say that the album does feel like me, but it is not because I think she knows anything about me. Or I feel like every woman of my age or like anywhere in the wheelhouse, any woman really that it can relate to this. It talks about depression. It talks about feeling like self-loathing. It talks about feeling not good enough. It talks about feeling like you have to trick people into liking you. It feels like it talks about there is one song though that I don't think most people can relate to that does feel very me, and it's called
I'm worth $400 million.
Midnight Rain.
Oh, Midnight Rain.
It's called Midnight Rain, and I doubt that there's a lot of high school girls relating to. He wanted that. Wait, what is the lyrics? It's about like dating a guy who just wants a simple life, and you want to be famous, or you like have a more complicated life, I guess. But it actually says he wanted it comfortable. I was chasing that fame. Dun-dun-dun. So it's talking about like
And pain.
And pain. Oh yeah, and also
pain.
I love pain. But I think a lot of girls like pain, so maybe they could relate to it. I mean, that was the one I was just like, holy shit. Like, she says, my boy was a montage, a slow motion love potion, jumping off things in the ocean. I broke his heart because he was nice. So I think like girls can relate to letting go of a guy because he's too nice, but also I can really relate to like my lifestyle is the opposite of a guy who wants to jump off things into the ocean. Like, I do not want to do that. Chris is always jumping off of things. Andrew, you date a ledge head. Like, I don't want to date a guy who's like an outdoorsy person, or I do date one, but that's like the difference between our speeds and like the lifestyles we chose. But I really loved that jumping off things in the ocean. I was like, oh my God, that is like every guy on Raya, or when I used to be on the dating apps, that would be like jumping off of things like outdoors. Off a boat, off a ledge, off a cliff, off a rope swing.
Off their ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
just anything. Get away.
Just rebounding over to me. I would always be like, oh God, I can't. And then she talks about a lot. I mean, she is a 34, I'm guessing 33 or 34, 1989, 33-year-old woman that is not married, has been with the same guy for 6 or 7 years, is not pregnant yet. And I don't think there's many women out there who can relate to that at 33, not having kids, being with a guy long-term and not getting married, not getting engaged. That I very much relate to. And, even in the song Midnight Rain, she says, it came like a postcard, picture perfect, shiny family, holiday, peppermint candy. But for him, it's every day. It was just like, she's talking about like these lives that other people have that she just didn't want. And he was like, and then in this, in the chorus, it's like, he wanted a bride, I was making my own name, chasing that fame. He stayed the same, all of me changed like midnight. And just also like the idea that men don't really change. They like kind of it's harder to get men to like, maybe this isn't, maybe you should go talk to someone and work on things to change. It might be better for us. I related a lot to all of it, and I just am obsessed with this album. I mean, I'm guessing, Andrew, you've been hearing it on repeat too.
I have been hearing it. My only problem with it, for my ears, for some reason, the music that she chooses behind it, I have trouble hearing her lyrics. Like, compared to Folklore and Evermore, like I love how she writes. And for some reason, like, something isn't registering with my ears of like the tone she's choosing. That's why
you got to listen to you got to read the lyrics with it.
Yeah, I almost have to read it because that's the only thing.
That's what everyone does, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can't read while I'm driving. That's when I'm listening to it. That's when I'm listening to it.
Yeah, and that's a good point.
And I feel like the songs, like the music she's chose behind it, like they kind of bleed into each other. Where like and that's like my only complaint. I mean, I've enjoyed listening. It makes me calm. I'm relaxed to it. I like driving to it.
Yeah.
But I feel like with this album, I can't, It's
just not slow and simple. Look at who's behind you, Willie Nelson. Just simple.
And a guy on a jet ski, though. So I speed it up sometimes. But,
you jump off things into the ocean. I mean, she is, I first heard it from my dad being like, she talks too fast. It's too fast. Too many lyrics. And even Anya said something about it yesterday, being like, there's too many, she's talking too much. And I love that.
You've never done that.
That's another realization I had, Nikki, from listening to the album and then you telling me there's like 7 other bonus tracks.
Yes.
I realized that
the
like
3 a.m.s.
Yeah, like there has been like a gap for me. Like I could have filled in a gap of knowing you better if I would have been like more invested in Taylor Swift, because there's so many, you have so many similarities with her in a way.
Yes. It is like, that's why like when my friends are a little reticent to listen to her, or my boyfriend or my family, I'm like, then you don't care about knowing me. Like it actually feels like you don't want to meet my dog or something. Like it would be, I'm trying to relate it to someone who does it. Like it would be like you have no, it's this way. It's like reading my diary. That's how I feel about Taylor Swift. Like that's the way in which I'm sensitive. That's the way in which I feel the things around me. It just is, I wish it for everyone. I wish everyone had this thing. And I know I'm not alone. I mean, that's why she has such maniac fans, is because we all just feel so seen. And like, you know, I had so many, this is the best weekend because I had so many people reaching out to me about her and telling me the songs they liked, asking what songs I liked. Like it was just so fun.
Karma is a cat. I like
Karma
that one.
is a cat.
I love that.
Chilling in my lap, purring in my lap because it loves me. Karma is my boyfriend. That's a really
Karma's
fun one.
That's a fun song. I like what's the one? The fight. Which one? It's something fight. The greatest fight. The greatest war.
Oh, the Great War. Yeah, that one's good.
I really like that one.
So my ranking as of today is, I put it on my Instagram last night, but it's worth going over. And I know some people are like, we don't care, Nikki, talk about anything else. But it is, number one is Maroon. I think it just captures like being in love, and it's definitely about the night she met Joe Alwyn, her boyfriend now, and how and that song Mastermind is also about that same night of how she like concocted this night to like for them to meet. And Mastermind is so good because she just is so honest. She's like, what if I told you that none of this was fate? Like we did not end up in that room together because it was just a crazy night. I planned it. I planned that touch of your arm. I planned like. And I just relate to that because I think so many, like even with Chris, he doesn't realize how much effort I was putting in before we got together. And part of the lyrics in Mastermind that I love so much are, it's the bridge. And she says, when nobody wanted to play with me when I was a little kid. And so I have been scheming like a criminal ever since to get them to laugh and like me. And, like that's why and then she on her song Dear Reader at the very end, she pretty much says, Dear Reader, like she's talking to us being like, don't trust someone who's who's not well, like don't look to me for like your life purpose and like for guidance. I don't have it figured out either. Like I am not a reliable narrator. And then it kind of like flips everything on its head at the end. She's giving us this whole album. At the end she's like, but don't take me too seriously. And how could we? I mean, we do take her seriously, but I work so hard in my stand-up to be so brutally honest. And this album made me realize I'm not even close to getting to this level of like artistic, brutal honesty. It was like, it has inspired me. It's inspired my stand-up this weekend. I was like, I want to like go harder and deeper. Like it's nice because I always think I've revealed everything, but not like my character defects and my flaws and like those sickest parts of myself. To say that you're a covert narcissist as Taylor Swift, I mean, I think that is the most revealing thing she has ever said about herself. And she is saying it from a perspective of like her self-loathing herself. Like she's calling herself one. And so she's maybe in the way that I'd be like, I'm so fat. And you'd be like, Nikki, you're not. You know, like she's doubling down. So she's maybe exaggerating because she doesn't really think she's one. But to even throw that out there is interesting because people have speculated that maybe, her haters might think that about her, but no Swifties have ever thought that. And for her to feed that to us is very interesting. But Mastermind, she's like, all the wisest women had to do it this way because we were born to be the pawn in every lover's game. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Strategy sets the scene for the tale. I'm the wind in our free-flowing sails and the liquor in our cocktails. I liked that line because I'm like, oh, she's like, I pictured her like getting him drunk and like, I mean, which I don't think she meant by that lyric. What if I told you none of it was accidental and the first night that you saw me, I knew I wanted your body. I laid the groundwork and then just like clockwork, the dominoes cascaded in a line. What if I told you I'm a mastermind and now you're mine? It was all my design because I'm a mastermind. Holy shit. I love it. It's just so honest.
I don't know. Yeah. I feel like also, I don't know if it takes away from the romance or whatever. Like if I learned that, oh, you know, I actually planned some of this stuff, I would almost be like, that's even more romantic that you actually strategize to get my love. Like there's something really romantic to it that you put time in and did homework to get my heart. You know what I mean? Like I don't really mind that much, you know? Well,
it just speaks to like how little men have to do, because she's right. Women do have to try harder. Men just kind of like are like, I'm not saying all of them are, but you guys kind of just, we have to look like we're not planning things and everything is accidental, but it is. I mean, Noah, how much fucking thought did you give Avi and yours relationship in order to get it to end up the way it is? I mean, it was a full-time job at times.
You were with me.
It was, but he would never know that unless, I mean, maybe now he knows it, but he would never suspect all the amount of work and talking about with your friends and reading books and journaling about it, memorizing things, ultimatums to give him written by Pat Allen. And like, but it all comes off so casually. Like you didn't care. I mean, it's Chris, I used to, he still doesn't believe me that I was so in love with him and I had to figure out a way to get him to see me sexually. So I wrote a sketch in which I would take off my shirt so that he could see I had big boobs in front of him. And he still doesn't believe it. He still thinks that Allison Brie bit I did was all like, oh, it's just a good idea. But he was producing it. And I was like, I got to figure out a way to get for this guy to see my body because he's not seeing me sexually. He's seeing me as a coworker. I need to get topless. And I didn't get totally topless, but I had a nude bra on and you could see what was happening. And he still thinks that he's like, I think you just make that story up. And I'm like, no, I would have pitched something entirely different. It started with what can I do around Allison Brie, because that was the segment he was producing that would get my top off. And I wrote an entire thing around that.
Why do I love giving 9 blowjobs a day? I wrote that for you. Like, I know it's
you think I haven't said
Chris.
Stuff like that?
Yeah, I know. No, I think you have.
That's not
I think
even an exaggeration. That's so like, or doing like stand up and you mention I will do certain jokes to get something across to a guy that I like back in the day. Like, I mean, there's so much overthinking because women just think so much and men don't as much. Last night we were watching Love is Blind. Have you guys? It's so good. There's a new season out and it was funny. Chris and I were on the couch watching it and it's, you know, there's a wall up. These two people can't see each other. You guys know the premise. And then they get engaged before they even see each other. And these people fall madly in love. It's so wild. And then Chris last night was like, he never does this, but he was so cute. He was like, what would you like? Because part of the thing, they were getting to know each other and they're like, what should people know about you? What should I know about you if we're going to be in a relationship? Like, what are the things? And then he was like, what would you tell someone across the wall, like what to know about you? And we had gotten into a little tiff earlier on in the day. So I think it was on both of our minds. Like, are we going to share the things about ourselves to someone that we haven't met, like we haven't been in a relationship with, that led to the, like, neither of us would have predicted we are the people that led to that fight earlier today. But that is part of us that it was there even before we met. And so he was like, what would you tell someone? And I was like, I didn't really think about it because you just are like, what would I tell someone that I want to possibly be my husband that I'm meeting for the first time through a wall? I was like, you know, I would say Joe Rogan says I'm a lot. I change my mind a lot. I am very, I give people I can be a people pleaser a lot of times. I'm very sensitive. I'm obsessed with Taylor Swift. I care about animals and I would wish my partner would eventually want to go vegan. I'm messy. I can be really mean, like think really dark, cruel, awful thoughts. And
Sneaky big tits.
And I love Columbine.
And I love Columbine.
And
you just hear the door lock from the other side. He like adds another lock somehow. He's like,
he just starts putting up more drywalling.
Yeah, more drywall. Are you in there? Yeah, I'm here still. I'm here.
Oh my God, that does remind me. There was one girl that's obsessed with exercise, and this guy is sharing about his like dad dying and like the biggest tragedies of his life. And this girl is doing jumping jacks on the other side of the wall and like lunges. And at the end of it, he goes, and by the way, I can hear you doing jumping jacks. And she goes, oh no. And it totally ruins everything, as it should. I was so mad at this girl. She's like obsessed with exercising. It's so lame. But she's like doing like dips on the couch as he's like, and I was molested when I was 4, and she's like, oh, and she's not out of breath because she's like a workout queen.
Yeah,
but he was able to hear it, like the creaking of the couch. He knew. But then I turned the question and I was like, funny. Chris, what about you? I go, Chris, what should I know about you? And I have like my notebook pretending to be the girl. And he goes, that I have a girlfriend that I really love. I don't even know why I'm on this show. Like I shouldn't be here. And I was like, trick question. But
yeah. Did he really say that? He
was just being funny. But then he gave a good answer. He gave the perfect answer. It was almost like he said, it was a funny way in which he could account for his most annoying traits to me in a way that was like charming and funny. And he didn't have to say like, it was his way of being like, I know this is hard for you to deal with and I'm working on it. And that was really, it was like the nicest thing he started it. I was like very impressed by this little like fun couples exercise. So I do recommend watching Love is Blind with your partner and then breaking out that question, because it gives the person a chance to like atone for the annoying parts of their personality. We have to go to break, but we'll come back with more right after this. All right, we're back. Busy weekend here in LA. I did 18 sets in 6 days.
So you're slowly getting back into it.
18 or 19.
How's your voice after so many sets?
Saturday. It was like I overdid it because I didn't also plan on working all day Thursday on a TV show that I did called That's My Jam, which with Jimmy Fallon and Jay Farrow, and I don't want to give away the whole cast because it probably hasn't been announced. They'll be like, don't give it away. Even it's like, no one cares.
You were on that show before.
Yes. So I just taped a second episode. They called me like the night before because I guess, someone fell out. But I love getting last minute bookings because then I dread it for weeks. Not dread it, but I'm like, what am I going to wear? And this way it was just like, couldn't even think about it. But it was really, really fun. And then I had 4 sets that night. And then the next day I had to shoot this video for Vice. They're doing some documentary about sex in the 90s. And so I did a kind of a talking heads type interview thing in downtown Manhattan, which is just, the whole time we're rolling. I'm like, why would you shoot anything in downtown LA? Why would you shoot anything in downtown LA? Like we got interrupted by just a guy screaming, another time by like a guy playing trumpet, by ambulances like every 3 seconds. It was a nightmare. Like I couldn't say I had to repeat everything twice. It was just, downtown LA is scary. Hotel Cecil vibes. And I'm sure there are people that live down there and like, it's amazing. But
yeah, I know that trumpet player. He's like cool. He's like different.
We had to go pay him to move.
Oh, really?
The PA went down.
That's a smart move by him. He just picks the most expensive building. It's like, I'll make $300. I saw this woman. She had the best sign, a homeless woman. She goes, too ugly to be a prostitute. And that was her sign. And I wanted to give her all the money.
There's no such thing, honey.
I thought it was like the best sales pitch I've ever read.
Yeah, I love a good
self-deprecating.
The ones that are like, I am gonna spend this on booze. What else would I spend it on? Just like being honest. We like honesty. And too ugly to be a prostitute but that it's not true. If we've seen,
I mean, look. It's
I don't want to give. I'm not trying to like tell her like, hey, get out there and do it. But
no, I'll let her know. She's here.
You gave her money though? And how was the hand job?
Oh, yeah, it was fine. It was a little rackety.
Rackety.
I don't know if that's a word.
I mean, you look a little rackety. There's a tennis racket that seemingly looks like it's coming out of your skull from behind you. That old thing?
It's funny. You know what?
It just fell.
You know what kind of racket it is?
What?
A head.
Like,
shit.
You don't even like tennis. Do you play tennis?
I did for a little while, but now my hamstrings can't handle it. You know?
Oh, okay.
I got them tighty hams.
Yeah.
But they're whatever. Yeah. No, I played a lot. I lived a retired lifestyle in Florida for like 6 years.
That's right.
And I would just play with a bunch of old people.
Yeah.
Like literally like 55 and older, just group classes. And then
was
just
that before
me.
pickleball took over? Because now everyone plays pickleball.
This is pre-pickle. Yeah.
Why did pickleball just suddenly come out? Like, who is inventing new sports?
I think it's just a mixture of ping pong and tennis. You don't have to try too hard.
But where was it before? Why is
squash? It was like squash. Like it was, there were games similar that pickleball is like the poor man's squash, I guess. It's anyone can play it. Mm-hmm. It's easy. I don't know. Yeah, it's blowing up. It's wild.
Do you play it?
A little bit. I mean, I would if anyone called me to be friends, No. I would play. I think it's a fun sport. Like it's but yeah. So you did 4 sets. So then you did
that night, and then I did that. Then on Friday I did 4 sets, and then Saturday I did 4 sets, and last night I did 1 set, and also Saturday we went to breakfast with Chris's coworkers. It was so fun, and then I was walking down in Santa Monica and walked past this like kind of vintagey store with like cool old like sports shirts and like. Just my favorite kind of store. Like I love, that's where I get a lot of my shirts is you pay like $100 for these shirts, but they're just like any band you used to be into, any sport, anything like, and, but Chris
it's like
had already
the
called
real
her
material, like that good half and half.
Yeah, and this is an Urban Outfitters like trying to recreate things on a nice feeling shirt. Yeah, it's the only kind of age you can get from a shirt that's been around since 1986. Like it has to have lived that life. There's ways that they can kind of
try to recreate it. Just have like they pay a lady to stomp on it with heels, but it just doesn't. It just doesn't do.
Chris used to leave his shirts out on his roof in Brooklyn for like a year, and the weather. Just rain and then snow and then he would get them in a year and they would all be like
really? That's smart.
They would be
I mean that's a patience
used as shit rags by the homeless, but
that's when they're good.
Yeah.
So you walk in and it's like everything you want.
I walked by the store and I kind of just was like, oh, I want to go in there, but Chris had already called our Uber and I was like, I kind of just want to go home. I had to pee so bad. So I walked by. And then we're waiting on the corner for our Uber, like a few blocks away. And I get a text from Scott Rogowski. If you don't know who that is, he's a comedian and he used to be the host of HQ Trivia back when that was like the
huge
biggest
deal.
thing in the world. HQ Trivia, Chris didn't know about it. I'm like, how did you miss HQ Trivia? I think he was living in Dubai at the time.
It was like the Wordle of video.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was
like 2 years ago.
Huge. It really, yes, absolutely. And so, Scott wrote me and was like, did you just walk by my store? And I'm like, oh, that's right. He has a store now. So it's called Quiz Daddy Vintage. And it's on Main Street in Santa Monica. And I was like, we'll cancel the Uber and come back. And so we went back in there. It was so much fun just hanging out with him. I knew him from back in you knew Scott, right?
I've met him like once or twice, but he has his own store. Like he opened like a store.
So this guy, he's been collecting
like Joe DeRosa
shirts,
making the
sandwiches.
sandwich place. Yeah.
Listen, we can do everything. Comedians are just contain multitudes.
Sandwiches and old shirts. We can,
Well,
and
Scott began collecting like in high school. Like he would just go to thrift. He would go thrifting for himself, and he would come across like a shirt that wouldn't fit him, or maybe wasn't the team that he liked. But he's like, I can't leave this shirt for $2 that I know. If it was my team, I would pay so much. So he started just collecting these shirts and it just became his thing. He would go on the road, he would go thrifting, and he amassed hundreds and hundreds of shirts, collector's items. And then he just decided he like had a website in 2003 that didn't really do anything. And he was like, I always kind of he goes, I realized I have OCD. I was diagnosed with OCD. I was diagnosed with like ADHD. Like he was like, all these things help me realize like, oh, I collect things. Everything's in pristine condition. Like I am around like looking through the racks and he's like fixing the racks after I touch them. And I'm like, this guy. And he goes, I just got diagnosed with OCD. I was like, I could have done that in 30 seconds. He's like, after meeting, I could have told you this back in 2008 when I met you. But he has this store. It's so awesome. And I found a sweatshirt. He gave me half off. It was really nice. And he had a hamster and a dog there. It's just a cool store. And it was cool because Chris was kind of going reluctantly, like meeting my friends. And then Chris gets in there and Scott's like, you into Cardinals? Here's my Cardinals rack. You into Mizzou? Here's the Mizzou. Like he had so much stuff. Like, and there were people that just kept walking in being like, do you have this like minor league baseball team that's, 20 miles outside of Philly? And he's like, I think I do. Back on this route. Like he's got everything. So
yeah,
if you
great.
Quiz Daddy, it's QDV Quiz Daddy Vintage on like Instagram. But it was so much fun. And then yeah, Saturday night, a bunch of sets, and Chris came with me, ran around town. And then last night I just had one set, and I regretted taking it because I just wanted, I'm staying out on the west side, so it's like 23 minutes for me to get to the Improv from where I'm staying, and that's with no traffic. And the time of nights I'm leaving, there's no traffic. But it is just like, it's an hour total commute to go do one set. And it's sitting in an Uber, and the Uber sometimes smell, or they just have like loud music. It's just like I can't be on voice notes. I can't be talking to friends. So there's a little bit of that's annoying. But last night I thought there would be no one at the Improv. It's a Sunday night. It's the first time I've ever worn athleisure on stage because I was like on the couch watching Love Is Blind. My hair was wet out of the shower. I have no makeup. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, "Oh shit, I gotta go!" So I grab my makeup bag.
Taylor Swift song there. That was really good lyrics. It really was. Like whatever she just said. Listen back and add music.
No makeup on the couch, watching Love Is Blind. I've gotta do a set. It starts at 9:45. Oh shit, it's 9:30, and I'm 23 minutes away. Texting Chris Burns that I'm going to be so late. So then I get in the Uber. And,
he lives in LA.
Yeah. And so it was his show. I get there. Ali Wong had just gotten off. So it is completely sold out. There are besties there that go, bestie! And these sweet girls that are so adorable were like there. And I got on stage and immediately apologized for my look, even though I look like most men. I put it like men wear exactly what I wear and it looks like they're dressed up. But me, I looked like a schlub. And had a fun set. And then came home, and then all I've been able to do is think of Taylor Swift, though. Like every morning I wake up with a new song in my head. I am about 50% of the lyrics memorized from 20 songs. And that's without trying. I got to put in some more effort. I want to get them all memorized. I want to start. I'm just overwhelmed with what her concerts are going to be, though. She has not been on tour since before Lover, since Reputation. So we now have the album Lover that has never been performed live, Folklore, Evermore, all the re-releases from Red and from Fearless, and now Midnights with the 7 bonus tracks. There's literally 100 new songs that are added to her repertoire of already 150 songs. I don't think anyone has more of a catalog of music than she does. And I'm stressed out about Setlist. Oh, it's coming. Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, right? Like it's people were speculating like I work for the Bank of America Center and someone has put this place on hold for 5 shows in the summer of 2023. So it gonna happen. And I'm very excited. Yeah. How was your weekend, Andrew?
It was good. I did shows all weekend. Heather McMahon was in town. And so I got
her.
Dude, her crowds are just, I can't even explain the amount of cheetah I saw. Some of it I think was real. I think still alive. It was fun. It was literally like 98% women. I started playing a game. I go, are you gay? Or are you DUI? Like if your wife is going to get a DUI, like that's why you
Oh, that's so funny. That's so funny.
I just started playing with every guy, like gay or DUI, gay or DUI. So that I had fun. I mean, it's just like so many women. Like I've never.
And are they classic like comedy fans, stand-up comedy fans, or is it a little bit of a
half?
Is this like their first comedy show?
I think it's a little bit of that. They're very like encouraging. Like it almost feels like a TED Talk kind of thing. And then they're like, "Oh shit, you're telling like left turn jokes, like kind of thing." But it was a lot of fun. It was had a great
so
time.
fun. And you had a good time with her. Did you guys like hang out during the day, do stuff?
Not that much, but like, after show we went to Sasha's wine bar like Thursday night. And that's a great, St. Louis, nothing stays open past midnight. And I don't really understand like these LA's we
got to get up and farm.
City too. Yeah, we have to get up and farm. Yeah.
I like that. I like when places close early because then I get to go home early. There's no pressure to stay
It's
out.
almost like a rainy weekend. Like Chris and I on Saturday were begging for it. It was so overcast. We were like, can it please rain so we have an excuse to stay inside?
Oh,
yeah,
in
but
LA,
you're right.
That's like impossible. Yeah,
it happened a little bit. It started sprinkling on Saturday night, but
that's just volcano ash. It's like, or some tall like models crying.
A tall model is crying in LA. That was I forgot to leave out that one part of it. That was the most cool thing about this weekend is that there's not usually a lot of comedians in town or like headliners in town on the weekends because they're usually out on the road, and so there's always like a couple, and we're doing all the same shows. But Patton Oswalt and I last weekend or this past week were on the same like, let's just binge sets. Like we even talked on Saturday night. We were like, we've seen each other now like 6 times. We've been on the same show 6 times. We were on the same show. Either he was bringing me up, I was bringing him up. And we've known each other. He did my show Not Safe on Comedy Central. But we really got to know each other this week. And it was so nice because it was almost like we were like the way that you and Heather were working together, like Patton and I were working together. And and then it all led to Saturday night, and Pat and I were both like talking about like that's the best way to get material written is not to sit home and write, but it's just book as many sets as possible and don't leave even time to think. Because we were talking about this theory of like, he was like, and I read about it somewhere very recently, but they did an experiment where they had people who had never done pottery before work all month to make one pot. And at the end of the month, they work so hard, work on one pot. And at the end of the month, that will be your pot. And you could do it. You could start over as much as you want, but it's one. And then they had another group of people that did a new pot every day. And you just have to make a new pot every single day. By the end of the month, the people that did some people that were just on the one pot, some people nailed it by the end of it. But the most successful people were the ones doing it every day and starting a new pot and just creating something every day, as opposed to like, and I think that's why I struggle with writing songs, is because I want that first song to be perfect when really I should just make a bunch of shit every day, write another shit thing. And then by the end of it, I'll figure it out. And so I think we can all like kind of use that as an example of how to approach life, is like, stop obsessing over this one thing so much. Just make as much as possible, and then you will slowly give yourself a little apprenticeship of what you want to accomplish.
And then when you make it, then that pot eventually at the end of the month, it's going to feel so fucking good because like you did so many little pots. You know what I mean? Like it's the work that got there. I don't know. I think like,
but
you
yeah,
want
like
you want the song to be
point,
great. Yeah.
Yes.
You want the song to be great, but it's like, I don't know. I just think like it's so hard to put out a bunch of shit because it hurts, right? Like,
well, you don't put it out is the thing. You just give yourself a month. Like if you were going to give yourself a month to put out a stand-up bit, and you're like, I want this bit to be perfect in a month. Instead of just working on that bit or that set, you're like I just think that it's about just like working all the time, like constantly just starting over and not being precious about your work, I think is the thing. So like last night I got so mad, like Chris and I were like, I was trying to get him to watch Love is Blind. I had to go do a set, and he's posting something for the Courtney show. And he is not someone who like goes on social media a lot and like knows the wild ways of it. But I think this is a very common thing for even people who do it a bunch. But he is like, he wants the music in the background of the story to be perfect. He wants the caption to be perfect. He wants the clip to be exactly like the funniest parts. And I'm like, it doesn't matter that much. Like he had been working on it an hour, and I go, babe, I can't, like, you can't give this an hour of your time. Like, people aren't even going to watch these. No offense. Like, I just know how it works. It's on your story for 24 hours. It doesn't even last longer than that. You cannot. And then I just started like mocking him, and like, it became really fun because I'm like, oh, he's still working on the music for that little clip no one's going to watch. Like he needed me to kind of. It's weird because it's like I don't want to insult something that he cares about and he's working on, but I also need to get it through to him like this preciousness is holding you up in life. And I'm projecting too, like being too precious about like when I put out clips online, I don't ever put out clips because I either put out a clip because I've just given up and I'm just like, whatever, I'm just going to put it up and I don't look at it at all. Or I've just only picked the one that is perfect. And I think you just need to put out more stuff. That being said, I just got on the camera today and the first thing I bitched about was seeing like we're waiting to start the show and I come across someone's video of their stand-up and I've muted so many people on Instagram from these shitty stand-up clips. I can't take it anymore. Talk about they're making a pot every day, and it does not hold water. It is. I need to see something better than this shit. Like I don't see their final product ever getting better. I mean,
I know why they do it though. They do it well. I know why
they do it for the algorithm.
No, not just that though. People don't want to, even if it matters or not. They don't want to release their actual material that would end up on an album or on a special, so they put out crowd work because
write more material. That is my point. Write more material that you don't care about. Write jokes that are just for that town or something. Like this crowd work stuff has got to stop. Who likes watching crowd work unless it's someone throwing a can at your head? I just can't. Your crowd work clip was actually like had some substance to it, but I am just like. No,
there's some that are like 8 seconds long. It's literally 8 seconds. And it's like
nothing happens. Nothing. Literally.
The audience says something funny. Like the audience member has the joke. And it's like, let's put that guy on stage.
Can everyone, I'm just begging besties who are savvy consumers, don't give these people the watches anymore. Like, please. These people are getting too much validation for this stuff, and like do not be tricked into thinking this is funny. Really assess it. Like, is this funny? Could I have come up with something funnier in like 3 seconds? You probably could have, because this stuff a lot of times they'll repeat the person and then laugh, and then it ends on the comedian laughing at the thing. If you watch a clip and it ends with the comic laughing, and that's or just it's just I don't know. Maybe I'm jealous because I need to make more pots every day, but it's not.
You're in a situation where it would be if you put up like, let's say you have a great new 2 minutes. If you put that up, would you have to burn it? Because it will be on HBO. It will be on Netflix for you.
I wouldn't feel bad because people that watch HBO or people that watch Fallon or people that watch, they're not also on all the platforms and they forget. And there's no law about that. Like it is shitty if you put a joke in a special and then you do it in another special. There's no laws against it, but it's shitty and everyone will know you're a piece of shit. But if you put something on Instagram and then it ends up in a special, no one, even in the comedy community, is going to think that you're lame. It's
also you stole that joke from you. You wrote that. Like you plagiarized you.
That's so
funny.
As
a fan, it like makes me feel like, oh, I'm a better fan because I've liked that joke on Instagram.
Yes.
Yeah. I think like some comics, they'll do a thing where they go, give me a topic at the end. So then they do all these topical topics. So then they have it for Instagram. So like, especially during like check spots, they'll be like, what do you want to talk about? And someone will go, Brad Pitt or fucking North Korea.
Mark Normand is good at that because he writes jokes beforehand for those subjects. Yeah. And sometimes he gets lucky that he can think of something funny. But Mark Normand doesn't put up every fucking thing he says that might get a titter of laughter. And I'm so tired. Like, there are people on Instagram, like, I guess it's just me I just should be positive about all of it. Everyone's doing great, and I'm happy for everyone that they found a way.
That feels so much worse.
I'm so happy that the bar for stand-up comedy is so fucking low. And you know what? You'll see it when you go see these people live, how disappointing it is. They will not be able to sustain an hour. Crowd work is fun, and you can get away with doing it and getting laughs for at least 4 minutes. But if you're not actually good at it, beyond that, you have to return to material. And if you are going to see someone that only does crowd work and on Instagram, I think you might be disappointed when you see them. But maybe I'm wrong. As someone who doesn't do crowd work, even people will do like for TikTok, they'll be like, let's say like me and you, like we write
like out, like you say this, I'll say this, and then you say that, and then we'll both end it and go, haha, you know? And that's real shit. Like people are like making fake contrived.
No, they aren't,
podcasts.
really.
I swear, if you go on TikTok, you can see that it's like literally like made up.
They're making scripted moments that are
everything's scripted. The dances are scripted. The conversation's scripted. What's real? Like couples going. Have you seen? Some of the couples that like set up things in the kitchen like they just happen, and it's the worst acting on earth.
That's my favorite subreddit. It's something like it's one of my favorites. It's like, why was this being filmed? And it's like, it's just a subreddit that calls out. Let's take a break. If you ever see it, like, let's take a minute to think. If you look at a clip and you're like, oh my God, that's so crazy that happened. Think about, why was this being filmed? Because otherwise it's probably fake if there wasn't a natural reason, unless a Ring camera caught it, everything is fake and it's exhausting, and I need to do more of it. I think that's why I'm resentful of it. I should just be positive. I should try to find the positives in it, because there are so many things on Instagram that I love, so many clips of people's that do delight me. But there is something
nice that we both have partners that like they don't care about getting views or like they don't want to make those videos with us. No. Which sometimes I'm like, God, I kind of wish I dated a TikToker. And then I'm like, and then I watch a TikToker's video and I can only imagine how many times they went through it. And it was the whole day.
That was that girl that I got jealous of. I sent her to Noah the other day because Noah was like, who is that girl that you said was so triggering? And I was like, proceed with caution. And I sent it. But like, her and her partner make so many videos together all the time. And I was so jealous because I'm like.
And then you think about it, like really think, and you're like, thank God I could separate two things.
Right.
Like, thank God.
Yes. I love that too. Like I have a boyfriend who doesn't care about being famous, but also doesn't care if I am famous. Like that is because that is such a hard thing to find, someone who like appreciates people who are famous. Like he loves Patton Oswalt. He was totally delighted this weekend that we got to hang with certain people, and like we got to hang out with Patton Oswalt. I got to talk to him about Young Adult, which is one of my favorite films. We got to talk to him about Veep, which he is in, and just, I mean, it was so cool. I talked to him about some theories I have about shooting my next special, and he was like, oh my God, I want to direct your next. Like we were just like we were broing down. It was so fun.
That's awesome.
But Chris is able to appreciate those moments and not be like jaded by them and be like, oh my God, that was so freaking cool. But also like not care to be the center of attention. Which I don't relate to at all. I don't understand someone who doesn't want to be in the spotlight. I'm so grateful there are people like that though, because it would be exhausting otherwise. But you have the same thing. It's so nice.
It is nice. I mean, it's sometimes because she is so much, she's gorgeous, and obviously would help my algorithm would be better the more I goes Brenna. But then I feel
like when you do put the camera on her, it's not like she's like, no, please. Like she's down. It's up to you though to like do it.
Yeah.
She's not like, oh yeah.
Yeah. But it's fine. Like it's just like, yeah, when you see it, it is like,
oh my God.
Cool.
Can you imagine if she was putting up like thirst traps and like love to like do makeup tutorials where she's just like, bent in front of the camera showing off her tits, and like it's not really about the makeup, it's just about guys like imagining coming on her. Like
she's like playing with a hose in the yard, and I'm like, we live in an apartment building. How did you even get in that yard? Whose hose is that?
You would be, I mean, it would be so annoying to have someone as needy as you and I on the other side of you and I. It's just, it would be, it can only be one person like this in a relationship. The other person needs to be a ledge head. Okay, we'll do top one, bottom one when we get back after this.
Yeah.
All right, we're back. Let's do top one, bottom one. Noah, what's this category today?
Today's category is pizza topping.
Pizza toppings, which by the way are the only things I eat now. It's my new favorite food. I order a large pizza with a ton of because it's two, and with a ton of veggies. I don't do cheese because I'm vegan, and then I just eat all the toppings, and then I get a side salad, and I have the crunch with the salad that I need. That's like more of like, it's not so wet. And it is so good. I've done it. It's my new thing. I have no shame. And then the waitress comes to collect the plate, and she's just like, okay. And I'm like, I know I wasted a crust, but like it's too hard to explain what I want, and you guys don't have the ability to make it back there unless the crust is the plate.
Yeah,
but it's
it
my
actually
new
makes
fave.
sense. Yeah. The crust just acts as the perfect like little bowl for it.
Yeah, it's great. But let's talk about toppings. Let's start with bottom, the worst topping.
God, it really depends on who's making the pizza too, right? Like for me, like certain places, like pepperoni would be great, but in other places they're too thick and it's like too much meat.
Well, let's say where you're going to a new pizza place that you don't know anything about, and you're just like, you've heard they have the best toppings. They have the best version of everything. So let's just assume they have the best version of everything.
All right. So worst for me it's going to probably be controversial. Mushrooms. Can't stand them. Don't like them. I don't understand the texture. I feel like I'm eating like a rubber like sole of a shoe. It doesn't do anything for me. I could still.
I thought you meant like
dirt.
the sole, like SOUL, like
I did.
this a shoe's sole,
yeah, I'm a shoe,
which is almost worse than the actual SOLE, because a shoe's sole is just like, I've been walked on my whole life.
That's a
All I
mushroom.
do, yeah,
And they claim to be a fun guy. They're not.
Yeah. Pun guy.
Hey, clip that, Noah. Just that part.
Oh my God. We wrote it out beforehand. That was a great job, Andrew. You really made it seem like just off the cuff.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
And scene.
Okay, cool. Cool.
We got it.
Cool.
Mushrooms. Interesting. Noah, what is your least fave?
I just want to like wholeheartedly disagree with Andrew's mushrooms.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do too.
I
because
knew it.
let me just say, if we're going mushrooms,
go pro mushroom. Tell me what's great about a mushroom.
Fresh mushrooms are amazing. Like a fresh mushroom, like I want the mushroom to be dry. I don't like marinated mushrooms. I don't like canned mushrooms.
That's what a pizza
That's
mushroom
disgusting.
is.
No, I get fresh mushrooms all the time on pizzas, and that's delicious. But
Okay.
I don't like
Alright.
eating raw mushrooms, but I like cooked mushrooms.
yeah, but if they're raw and they go in the pizza raw, they'll get cooked in the oven.
in the heat. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Glad we agree.
My least favorite topping, which I find to be so disgusting on a pizza.
Can I guess?
Sure.
Sausage?
No. But you're close. It's chicken.
Chicken on a
I am
pizza.
so disgusted by chicken and cheese. It just grosses me. It's disgusting.
Oh, that tickled me. I don't know why it tickled me. Really,
Wait,
really.
so even like chicken, like a chicken parm, like you don't like that?
No
Yeah.
chicken
Why
and
chicken and
cheese.
cheese? What do you like with chicken? Just barbecue?
Oh yeah, that's fine. But just the thought of like two separate animals coming together like that, like the chicken with like the milk that is supposed to be for like the baby cow, like it just disgusts me. I don't know.
You're
What about
you're
chicken
so
and
close
eggs?
to being a
Would you do that?
vegan.
Yeah. Oh man. Some chicken pizzas, chicken and broccoli, they would do with like ricotta. It's pretty good. Like
I don't
Yeah,
like
I've
any
never
form
loved
of
a chicken
cheese.
on a pizza when I used to eat chicken. Even the barbecue chicken pizza at CPK when I used to work there, people used to love that, and I get it, but it's not. It just doesn't feel like pizza. It just feels like an entirely different dish. My least favorite topping is any kind of olive. I hate the juice.
Hell yeah.
I hate
Even
olives.
green-
are
Wait, what
gross.
did you say, Kanye?
Any kind of olive.
No, you said I hate the Jews. And I was like, what
I
does
hate
that
the
have to do?
juice. Yeah.
It's like, Jesus Christ, Nikki.
I just picture like olives having like a lot of juice with them, and I don't like it. But if I just the soul of an olive is just it penetrates. It makes the whole pizza turn into an olive. I don't like it.
Yeah,
It
it's
just
like that
penetrates the
Goldman
entire
bit with the grapefruit. Like it takes over everything.
Yes.
And I hate
But a
people
green
that,
olive, I've never even seen that on a pizza, but that disgusts me so much to think of like the little pimento, like that little piece of that red part. Disgusting.
the texture of olives. Just go fuck yourself. I don't mind an olive spread. Anyone that put olives on their fingers, those fucking freaks. Have you ever seen those people?
Yeah, where they go. Blop, blop.
Oh, look at that! I got olive fingers. My little brother used to eat them out of the can, and I was like,
I get it. I get liking like I love eating gigantic amounts of pickles. I love eating pepperoncinis.
It's got crunch.
Yes, it has crunch. It's not just like a like it's just like mushroomy, but almost more texture. Yikes! And the taste is just so bitter. Not a fan. And they're so packed with like. I mean, I know they have a lot of good stuff in it for you, but like that's a very caloric vegetable for too much for me. Like I don't mind a
martini. I actually don't mind. I don't mind olive taste or like the olive spread. It's the texture.
Ooh, I don't like any taste of it. I don't like olives. I don't like pimento spread. Any kind of spread. Yeah. Okay. So that's mine. Let's do the best pizza topping.
Oh, best pizza topping. I would have to say. Green pepper.
What?
Don't know why. I don't know. Yeah, I almost said pineapple, and I thought that would blow the roof off. But
no, I mean, I guess people can go either. But green pepper, like, why green pepper too? By the way, when I buy mini peppers to like eat out of the bag, they are red, they are yellow, and they are orange. There is no greens because green are gross. They have a different taste. Why are green peppers the number one pepper for pizza? Why not red peppers? Why not yellow peppers? Why not orange peppers?
I think. I don't know. I think the green sticks out from the tomato sauce.
Do you eat them on anything else? Do you eat green peppers in any other way of your life?
I used to be addicted to green peppers. My grandma would cut them up, and I don't know. I loved them. I don't know. I was really into peppers.
Do you like red peppers and yellow peppers? Do you ever eat those? I eat them like an apple. I love them.
I don't discriminate. I don't see.
But there's a difference between them, Andrew.
Oh, there is.
The taste of a green pepper is so different than a red or a yellow pepper. You don't know the difference?
I honestly, I really don't. I'm not playing dumb here. I never. Maybe the other ones are sweeter.
Green pepper is cheaper. It's always cheaper at the supermarket.
It is, and maybe that's why it's a more popular topping. Try next time you do. Try a green pepper and a red pepper. Like, see how they taste different because they are vastly different.
Green peppers
like have no sweetness
pizza
to them.
too. Onions are good on pizza.
Onions, like a sautéed onion, caramelized onion.
Yeah, caramelized onion. Fuck
but I would think green peppers
are fucking hungry.
I know. That sounds so good. Noah, what is your favorite pizza topping? Green pepper.
I don't know what maybe I didn't go meat because you're vegan. Maybe I didn't go meat.
You would put meat? You would pick meat otherwise?
Well, green pepper with pepperoni. So I guess they kind of go together. Like some of these best toppings need a friend. Okay. And they come together as a team.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, I guess I'm thinking about like if I would see this on the menu, I would definitely order it. And I got to say, I love figs on a pizza.
Whoa. Dude, Noah's wild, dude. It's just wild.
I've never even seen a fig on a pizza. I just am not at fancy enough places. Maybe I had a fig and bone marrow pizza one time, which bone marrow was surprisingly so good. Oh my God. I mean, I wouldn't eat it now, but that was delicious. If you are someone who eats animals, I would.
Figs, they have like the drizzle. Isn't it like drizzled with honey? That's the kind of pizza. It's like figs and
usually with balsamic.
Yeah, that's
balsamic.
Right.
That's it. Yeah.
Figs, do you know
with figs. I like
wasps.
Figs.
They have wasps in them.
What?
Like a fig cannot exist without a wasp dying inside of it.
What?
I don't know if that's true. That seems like
Google it. This is so true. I promise you.
I think this is the most wild statement we've ever heard on this podcast.
Who wants to bet me?
What's an apricot? Bunch of bees?
Andrew, that wasn't the line that we rehearsed for this clip.
Hey, cool.
Look into it, Noah.
Okay,
look into it.
Fig, wasp, fig.
All right. I have to read. It's like a whole big article. I have to read this.
Well, we will get to it. Are there wasps in figs? Here's the answer.
Everyone.
I recently dropped a fortune on a haul of purplish figs at the farmer's market. What was I going to make? What wasn't I going to make?
That's the article I'm on.
I learned that many figs are pollinated by fig wasps and that those tiny bugs die inside each fleshy pod. The bounty in my fridge suddenly took on a sinister quality. I needed to know, were all my figs filled with dead wasps? The answer I learned is both yes and no. Okay.
All right.
Figs have many secrets. They are actually inverted flowers. Each hollow ball of vegetal tissue is lined with hundreds of tiny buds that bloom inside the pod. The flowerets in certain edible varieties produce a fruit-covered seed, which is what gives figs some of their iconic crunch. Technically, they're known as aggregate, but who gives a shit? These days, many of the figs varieties that we buy in grocery stores and at the farmers market in the U.S. don't require pollination. Okay, so the ones that don't require pollination. So what's the deal with fig wasp? Because sweet, shy figs bloom internally, many of the 800-plus varieties across the world require an intimate type of pollination to ripen into an edible fruit. All figs are made up of both male and female flowers, but the ones we eat are generally harvested from dioecious species.
Deciduous.
No, it's Dioecious. Dioecious. In these, about 400 varieties, all the figs on each tree behave as... Get to the wasps, bitch! To pollinate these species, a female fig wasp, just a couple of millimeters long, forces her way into a non-edible, unripe, male-behaving fig where she lays her eggs in the flowers. Along the way, her antennae snap and her wings are yanked from her body. It's a tight squeeze, says Shanahan, leaving her no way out. Her wingless male offspring mate with the winged female offspring, yes, they're sisters, before using their huge jaws to chomp tunnels through the fig that will allow the ladies to leave. But before she bids adieu, that fertilized female wasp collects pollen from the male flowers. Then she squeezes... Who gives a shit? There's wasps in figs is all I'm saying. It is a thing. And the ones that don't have them are engineered by humans. But most figs have a dead wasp inside them. I rest my case. So Noah likes dead wasps on her pizza. Good to know. My favorite pizza topping is also a combo, but because I'm a vegan, I can't add one of the things. Broccoli. Broccoli on pizza is my favorite.
I fuck with
thing
broccoli
ever.
Yeah.
If you have that on your menu, I will eat your pizza. I will not eat the toppings of the pizza if it doesn't have broccoli involved. It's such an essential item. But I will say if I was a non-vegan, ricotta on a pizza, a ricotta dollop. Which, by the way, vegan ricotta, I'll just go there. Vegan ricotta on a pizza, the best thing. I just love that creamy, dollop. I love like a little bulb of ricotta. It's so freaking good.
Do you like it with garlic?
Garlic on pizza is good too, but I don't like bulbs of garlic. It's too much. It's just it looks like a little gusher of garlic, and it makes your breath stink and your body stink for like days.
Ricotta, I learned that you can add it to any pasta, and that didn't hit me until I was 41 years old. That you can make anything a lasagna, any kind of Italian dish.
So creamy and
you
it's
can
light
make anything
and it's fluffy and it's so good.
You don't have to wait for lasagna to have ricotta.
Even if you have cold ricotta in your your refrigerator and you get a pizza, just put some cold ricotta. Like that coolness on top of the hot pizza is delicious. Ricotta is so good.
More ricotta. Right. I'm with you there. More ricotta. Put it in your spaghetti. Put it on there. Put it anywhere. Put it on as a turkey sandwich. Put it on something not Italian.
Just not on chicken.
Hungry.
Just don't wait till lasagna to have ricotta.
Not put it on your fucking chicken. Have you guys been going out to eat a lot recently, Andrew? Have you guys gone to any good places? You went to Sasha's?
Well, the other night doing shows, Antonio's Taverna, the one that's up on the hill that's like famous, brought it toasted ravs and like all toasted ravioli. I do enjoy a toasted rav.
It's a St. Louis tradition.
Yeah, it's a St. Louis tradition. I don't know if I like a ravioli with meat over cheese. You know what I mean? Like or like other stuffing.
I only remember them having meat in them when
they all have meat.
Child. Oh, okay.
Yeah, they all have meat. I guess that's the other thing.
I like the dusting of parm. I like a little parm dust. Oh,
yeah, parm dust is solid.
And then I love a red sauce. I always get red sauce on the side. I got broccolini this weekend, and I was just dipping it, like picking up by the stalk and dipping it in the tomato sauce and going, and just lowering it into my mouth. It is like
I feel like that's my problem with most pizza places. They do not put enough fucking sauce.
I always
want more sauce.
Do you ask for extra sauce?
Even extra? Well, I need to
get
ask.
It on the side and order it extra sauce. I learned it from my dad. Get extra sauce on the pie, and then also get sides of sauce if you're dining in. Like, gotta get it.
Yeah, you gotta get extra sauce.
Dip in that. I love sauce so much. Love dressing. But I mean, I will have to say, like, I put things on top of salads all the time. Final thought. Chris and I went to brunch yesterday, and this place had nothing for me. They had like vegan burritos. I don't really eat bread or carbs. Don't come at me about it. It's just a thing. I just don't. I would rather eat anything else than that. to like, it just feels to me like a waste of food. Like I don't taste it enough. It's too dense. I want to eat like, I can eat like 6 plates of vegetables for 1 tortilla. I would rather eat vegetables. So, because I like to consume mass quantities. So I'm like, maybe I'll just eat the insides of this burrito. Oh God, I'm so bummed. And then I saw that they had scrambles on the side. And then they had like, I just made a plate of sides. I got 2 tofu scrambles with kale. Then I got some fake bacon. Then I got a side salad. So I have literally made this meal. I have 4 sides, and then the genius of just always getting a side salad and then getting sides, and then you mix it in the salad. So I had a tofu scramble with kale on top of a salad with tempeh bacon inside, and I mixed it all together, and I put sriracha and I put some of the salad dressing, and it was just this big mash of deliciousness, and I'm gonna go back there every day of my life because it was the best meal, and I'm thinking about it right now. It was so freaking good. But I just, no more shame about like I have to eat exactly what they give me, or like I feel so scared of making adjustments. Like I am all for having a meal made of appetizers or just sides. I go to an Italian restaurant, I don't eat pasta, and I start to freak out because I don't like pasta, and I'm like, everyone's gonna be mad at me and they're gonna think I'm like dieting. I just don't want pasta for my dinner. I get a bunch of fucking sides, and then I get a side salad. I have that fresh crunch with the cooked vegetable on top. You have the crunch and you have the lightness, then you have like the oily like veg. Oh, it's so good. And then the red sauce that you can dip all over it. It's so freaking good. Being a vegan can be so fucking amazing. And I love it. I love the food that I get to eat and like all the combinations I get to come up with. And it's my mouth is watering. I'm so fucking hungry, and I don't know why I already ate breakfast.
Yeah. This is stupid. I'm so hungry.
Chris, over the weekend, I told you last week that he got I got that new like ring that is for self-defense.
Yes. Yeah.
The knife ring. Well, then Chris, on top of that, because I was telling him like, I get scared running, and he like really understood it. And I was like, and also this, he feels like he like kind of drug me out here because it's his job that he's working on here. And so I think that he's like, any kind of alarm I have, he wants to like assuage my fears. So he bought me a mace to wear.
It matches.
Yeah, it's pink mace. It matches my ring. It matches the mic. And I was so happy about it. And then a box arrived the next day, and it's another mace. And I go, what? You think I'm going to run out of mace? What's going on here? Like, you think I'm going to use, why do I need 2? And he's
take back.
You have to be careful.
Like, one for your bag, one for you to like, oh, is it? Sorry, we didn't get it.
Sorry, Andrew.
Yeah.
It's a wrap.
Oh, the mace with the way the wind blows?
Yes, just be careful when you use it outside because it could just blow back in your face.
Spray yourself?
Oh, I had a joke before that was like, I can't use mace because unless I can spray it and then have the criminal like walk through it like I do with perfume. Like I never get perfume. I never spray in the right direction. However, this is the gel kind, which I've always been recommended is better than like the spray kind because the gel will be direct.
That shit shoots like hard. Like
he also got me a armband that shoots off a insanely loud noise, up to 130 decibel alarm, heard up to 1,000 feet, 300 meters away. So I am ready to be attacked at any time. So come at me. It's
almost like that thing though. It's like if you bring out all that, then you are going to get attacked. Like, You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know if it's like the secret, like, if I bring all this shit, like if I'm running without anything, maybe it's less of a chance. I'll tell you,
when I run without anything, I get really scared. Like when it starts to get like dark, I just start to get like, I start to jump at the smallest thing. Like I just like someone asked me for direction. I was like, ah! And I like jump into I start fighting back. Like, but if I'm already have these things, I just feel okay. And it's nice to like, when I used to have the tiger lady and I would use that and be going to a parking lot and a little bit nervous. I just know I'm ready. Like there's so many times I found myself as a woman where I'm like, I am not ready at all. I would get.
That's how I feel about knowing jujitsu and self-defense.
I know. I wish I wanted to learn that stuff, but I don't.
I just can't wait for you to get your pink AR-15.
It's so true.
Everything.
Here's the Amazon guy now. I mean, does Amazon sell guns? I guess they can't, but they would if they could.
Oh, for sure. I'm sure in some states, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll try to get one. Maybe I get one here.
I watched the last Dahmer. Did you watch that yet, Andrew? Wait,
no,
you
what's that?
haven't. The last episode of Dahmer.
Did you watch the last episode?
I did watch
Andrew,
the last episode of Dahmer. Yeah, first and last. Bookended
Wait, that's
it.
so weird that you watched
Green
the last
pepper,
one.
pepperoni. Yeah.
Yeah, we watched it the other night, and Andrew, Chris fell asleep as we were watching it, so I had to live his death alone. But I was so scared. It was really good and interesting. I just think that series is so well done, and I'm sad.
It's funny because
it was great.
I
and it
kind of
opened with John Wayne Gacy. The last episode is John Wayne Gacy.
Oh yeah. I also watched
so
the
scared.
first ep and then the last one. So like him dying at the end, like I felt sad because I didn't watch all his murders.
Yeah.
So like I was, you know what I mean? Like I was just like, why is this poor guy who found religion getting murdered?
Yeah,
he just
that's
seemed like
so
he
interesting.
wanted to sweep, and I mean,
I thought his dad was like the most sympathetic character of the whole thing. It was so sad to me, and I cried when his dad said he forgave him. That is what I think that's the feat of that show, is that you're able to find humanity in this person that was like had no remorse or like no decency, for someone who was not really human, but who really like. That's what Dahmer is in jail when John Wayne Gacy gets caught, and they're comparing the two, and he's like, I don't think I'm anything like him. This guy, he won't admit to what he did. I admitted everything. He's saying that it's a lie. I say I did it all. And it's like, that is unfortunate. You can kind of see the sadness in him of like, why am I this way? I really couldn't help but be like this. And even Niecy Nash's character is like, I know that there's something wrong with his brain and that he couldn't help it, but I can't help but hate him. I hate him and I want pain to happen to him. And there was something I liked about it, because I'm a big advocate of there's no free will, and people that, act in these heinous ways really don't have a choice. They were always going to do it. They're like, if you had their brain, you would do it too. You would do everything that these people did. If you had Dahmer's brain, you would have Dahmered. There's nothing, if you had his life, his family, if you grew up like him, you would have done there's nothing that you would have done differently. It's like it's just because he was given that brain and you were given yours, and it's easy for us to go, how could he do that? It's like, but you don't. So I owe it, ever since reading Free Will by Sam Harris, I've felt that way about any kind of criminal, any kind of person. I still get mad at people and go, how could they do that? But I can always kind of get to the place of like, well, it's not their fault. They were just, I'm just lucky I didn't have that brain to post that clip of me doing terrible crowd work. Like, it's not their fault that they think that's a good idea, But I thought this show actually like uncovered that and gave people a little insight into there not being free will, and that no one really has a choice in the matter of things, which is a sensitive subject, I know. We have to go. We're going to be here all week. This is just the beginning of the show. I'm going to Atlanta on Wednesday to shoot a show on Thursday, and then I'm going to be on the road. But I'm going to be in LA until December, living my life here out in Santa Monica. I went and viewed a house yesterday, or a condo that was next to the Airbnb I'm staying at, to just tour around and look inside, and just, starting to think about the future. But buying a house, I don't think I can do it. It just seems like too much money, and you're responsible for everything. And I don't know. I don't understand why people buy houses or have kids. I wish Taylor Swift had a thing about not buying houses too, a song about that. About it's easier with a landlord.
Well, she buys the house. That would be the song. She bought. She, you know what I mean? She had the money.
Well,
to
there
buy
is a house where she goes, and then it was bought by me, where she's talking about a house. So that is ironic that you said that. It's called The Last Great American Dynasty if you want to look it up. Okay, guys, we'll be talking Taylor Swift all this week. If you have any questions specifically about that, I'd love to answer them on the show. Oh, I didn't get to the controversial moment in the anti-hero video where she stands on a scale and it says fat. People are freaking out about it. We'll talk about it tomorrow on the show. I'll give you my hot take. Thank you so much for listening to the show. Don't be cuh. And Jack Antonoff
Harlow
is a producer on
I was going to say Antonoff too, I swear. But I couldn't think of his last name. I was just going to say the guy from Bleachers.